Hi there. Well, it's still March, and we've got some events from Reformation era and exploration. Starting in 1496, Jews are expelled from Carinthia, Austria, on March 9th. And in 1497, Nicholas Copernicus, the first record of astronomical observation, is published, or at least recorded. And in 1500, Pedro Alvares Cabral departs from Lisbon, Portugal, at the head of a 13-ship expedition to India that will also claim Brazil for Portugal. And in 1522, Martin Luther begins preaching his Invocaveat sermons in the German city of Wittenberg, reminding citizens to trust God's word rather than the violence, thus helping bring a close to the revolutionary stage of the Reformation. And in 1551, Emperor Carol appoints San Philip as heir to the throne. And in 1561, kissing in public is banned, and Naples is punishable by death. And in 1566, David Rizzio, the private secretary to Mary I of Scotland, is murdered at the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. In 1617, Sweden and Russia signed the Treaty of Stalbova, ending occupation of northern Russia by Swedish troops. And on March 10th, 1535, Bishop Tomás de Barlanga discovers the Galapagos Islands, famous Galapagos Islands, where Darwin came up with his theory of evolution. And in 1578, Queen Elizabeth I of England gives Johann Casimir 20,000 or so of income to aid the Dutch rebellion. And in 1624, England declares war on Spain, or I should say 20,000 pounds. And in 1629, Charles I dissolved the Parliament. He recalls it 11 years later. And on March 11th, 1502, Ismail I, founder of the Safavid dynasty, is crowned Shah of Persia, and his reign lasts until 1524. And in 1513, Giovanni de' Medici is chosen as Pope Leo X of the Roman Catholic Church. And in 1567, Guzen army leaves Walcheren to return to Oosterweel. And in 1597, Archduke Albrecht occupies Amiens, France. March 12th, 1596, Jews are expelled from Syria. In 1507, Cesar Borgia dies while fighting alongside his brother, the King of Navarre, in Spain. In 1572, poet Louis Vaz de Camões publishes the epic poem Os Lusíadas in Portugal. And in 1597, England sends troops to Amiens. In 1609, the Bermuda becomes an English colony. And in 1619, the Dutch settlement of Java changes its name to Batavia. In 1622, Ignatius of Loyola is declared a saint. In 1513, 1519 of March 13th, Hernando Cortez lands in what is to become Mexico. And in 1560, Spanish fleet occupies Ceuta at Tripoli, which is where Tunisia is, or at least Tunisia and the region of Libya. And in 1564, Cardinal Gradevelle flees Brussels. And in 1567, at the battle at Oosterweel, Spanish troops destroy the Guzen-Lenger. And in 1569, the Battle of Jarnac, the Count of Anjou defeats the Huguenots. Or the Battle of Harnac or Jarnac. And in 1591, the battle at Tondibi, a Moroccan army under Judar defeats Sultan Askia Ishaq II of Songhai. And on March 14th, 1559, storm floods ravage the Gornheim, Dordrecht, and Vorderkheim, Netherlands. And in 1590, the Battle of Ivy, French King Henry IV beats the Catholic League during the French Wars of Religion. It's basically between France and her non-French enemies, of course. And in 1592, the Ultimate Pi Day, I don't know why I said Pi Day, but it is Pi Day on this day, exactly at 6:53 a.m., is the largest correspondence between calendar dates and significant digits of pi since the introduction of the Julian calendar. It is 3.1415965358. In 1629, a royal charter is granted to the Massachusetts Bay Colony. On March 15th, 1593, Christopher Columbus returns to Spain after his first voyage to the New World. In 1526, the French Dauphin Francis and his brother Henry are exchanged as hostages. For their father Francis I, it started 4 years of captivity in Spain under the Treaty of Madrid. And in 1560, a failed assault on the royal palace in Amboise, France. In 1562, General Francois de Gaulle enters Paris. And in 1580, King Philip II, the Spanish king, puts 25,000 golden coins on the head of Prince William of Orange. Moving on to March 16th, in 1519, Pope Leo X signs the Fifth Council of Lateran. It was originally convoked by Pope Julius II and was sought to restore peace and the authority of the papacy. And in 1527, the Battle of Kanua witnessed the Mughal Emperor, the Babur, or known as Babur, defeating the Rajput Indians, the forces led by Rana Sanga, consolidating Mughal power after the Rajput defeat. On March 17th, 1521, the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan reaches the Philippines on this day, and in 1526 of March 17th, French King Francis I is freed from Spain. In 1537, the French troops invade Flanders. In 1580, Prince William of Orange is welcomed in Amsterdam. And on March 18th, 1509, Emperor Maximilian I names Margaretha and guardians of the Netherlands. And in 1532, English Parliament bans payments by English Church to Rome. In 1582, the Prince William of Orange is injured in an attack at Antwerp. And in 1583, the Dutch States General and Anjou signed a treaty. And in 1608, Cecenius is formally crowned as king or as emperor of Ethiopia within the Kingdom of Africa. And in 1524, Giovanni de Verrazzano, Florentine explorer, in the service of King Francis I of France, lands around the area of Carolinas. And in 1540, the Court of Holland names Amsterdam Sheriff John Hubrechts a heretic. And in 1563, the Peace of Amboise grants rights for Huguenots. And in 1571, Spanish troops occupy Manila. And in 1628 of March 19th, the Massachusetts Bay Colony is granted land by England. Well, that's it for this video. You have a good one. Bye.